Hi everybody, Z here. This afternoon I have a great pleasure to interview my good friend Pete Erickson, the founder of MoDev. Pete is a very successful event founder and he's been creating many events throughout the years. We've been great friends, we travel together, and you will hear from him what his journey was in the last few weeks through the pandemic shock, as he called it, and how he came out with actually a new entity and completely transform his business. And plus other advices too for you guys. So here we go.
Thanks, Pete, for doing this. So, I picked up a new job. I'm now a coach at the Hong Kong Professional Coach Club.
Wow.
So recently, we're talking about that you said everybody is talking about this. It's called the remote first mindset, right?
Yeah.
So I've been saying that we've been going remote for a long time, but now you have to go remote first. You don't think about remote it is it. So want to want to interview you, want you to share any advice you have for the community. Well, first, if you can say hi to the folks in Hong Kong, that'll be great.
Yes, absolutely.
um,
Yeah. Hello, everybody out there. It's been a while since I've been to Hong Kong. One of my favorite cities. In fact, had one of my, I think, all-time greatest experiences at MoDev with
right.
Z, you there, and so many others from our community and the Hong Kong community. It was just such a joy. And I'm sorry that we can't get back together this year, or maybe even next year. We have to see what happens. But
Right.
I do look forward to the day when we can all get together again. And I guess just to wrap up the intro, I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of MoDev, and we're technology community builders. We started in the mobile developer space, hence the name MoDev. But now we serve kind of the broader technology community landscape. Our largest event now is called Voice. It's in the voice tech industry. It's the largest event in that industry. And this year we were supposed to host about 5,000 people at our fall conference, but now everything's had to go virtual. And so we're spending all of our time figuring out, how to be a virtual company. But Z, you mentioned remote first. I
Right.
will share that since 2015, MoDev has been an entirely remote organization. So we went
Hmm.
all in on on being a remote company. So we sort of had that one. We have a little bit of an advantage there.
Right. So can you walk backward, like during I call it day zero, March 13th, right? When a lot of us in the US all of a sudden have to be indoor,
Yeah.
right? Was there a shock there? How was your journey in the last, I think 6 weeks or so?
Yeah. Well, I think that for us, yeah, we did get hit with the shockwaves. Even though we're an entirely remote organization, the reality of our business basically changing overnight,
Hmm.
where a lot of what we do is live events. Even though we had already started planning a virtual conference for June 9th, we had started planning it last August. So fortunately, we had kind of gone through a lot of the learning already with regards to producing a virtual event. But really, that event was supposed to be kind of a lighter lift using off-the-shelf tools, and
Hmm.
um, but suddenly we found ourselves, like everybody else, thrust into this new reality that everything we have to do now is virtual. And we have clients that we were supposed to be going, like we were supposed to go to Mobile World Congress in Barcelona
That's
with
right.
Google Assistant. And then we were supposed to go to South by Southwest with Google Assistant. So
That's right.
then we had a bunch of other stops planned this year. We're going to go to Can Digital and Web Summit. So you sort of see the idea was we were going to go and do these um, on-site events with these other mega conferences. So all that was off. And we had to immediately adapt to becoming a virtual first organization.
Hmm.
And that was shocking. And we've had to change our organization quite a bit. And we've actually added quite a few team members, but we've had to add a lot of new expertise to our team. Videographers, live streamers, full motion graphics people, digital marketers with a specialty in virtual events. So yeah, we've gotten through the initial shock, and actually now we're in production phase. We're actually rolling out content such as today's virtualization summit next week's
Right.
Voice Talks event with Google Assistant. And then we have a live stream event we're doing with Netflix and others in June as well. So we've moved from that initial shock. Now we're in production phase, and we're just trying to get the gears going here.
Right. So in this you call production phase, do you see new opportunities? Do you see things that wasn't available before? Can you share some of those?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. So for us, one of the opportunities, and then also it's kind of a challenge, is not only do we have to become experts at virtualization for our own properties and our own events, but so many people need help with this now, and we've had 9 months of learning behind us, so we're actually ahead of the game for a lot of folks. Right. So the opportunity is to help other companies, whether they're big associations or brands that have their own events, or brands that just need to go virtual and reach their communities, really to help them with that process. So I would say that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to help people with regards to virtualization. I also think that there is a tremendous opportunity to help people look for new business opportunities in this new remote first world relative to their existing business. So, if it's a restaurant, for example, they could become a grocery delivery company because they have a supply chain behind them of all those wholesale foods. And, so we picked up food yesterday. I bring that up because we picked up food yesterday from a restaurant, groceries, gourmet groceries. We were so happy about that because it took us a long time to try to get groceries through a traditional outlet. I just use that as an example, but I think in the tech space, I think there are many examples with taking what we were doing before and looking for new opportunities out there.
That's great. So our community, we're not only tech-based, so we have people from all walks of life. So what kind of advice would you give, let's say a auditor, or we have teachers in our group, different, like, where do they look? What kind of dimensions should we look through in this new world?
Yeah, I think what I've said is there are now surges in demand for certain things, right? So the easy ones to think about are like delivery and getting access to products. Suddenly, like fresh fruit and vegetables is just so magical. And I never thought I would live in a time where that would be something that seemed special. But there's surges in demand, and then there's gluts of certain products where stuff is rotting in the fields. And then there are surges in supply, like I said, and then there is absence of demand where there's been, there's no demand anymore. So think of like restaurants, right? But I think look at those and then try to solve for them. I think with regards to, you mentioned auditor or like an education, like a teacher, like right now, there's no way that the classroom teachers can meet the needs of their classroom now. Each child is unique, right? So I would say that there are multiple families out there that have special needs. There's a need for tutors to help these parents so that someone can actually sit on a live stream with a child for multiple hours at a time and work with them. Let that child then take a break, go away, come back, but the tutor's still there. All my kids now take virtual piano lessons, and I have an iPad set up on a holder so that the teacher can be right there with them. And we haven't really missed a beat on piano, but now she's giving virtual lessons. And guess what? She actually has more capacity now because she's not driving between lessons anymore. Her business can actually increase because she's got more capacity because she's not traveling. I would just say help the families out there, the parents that are really struggling with that. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity for people, and they may not even be teachers or tutors. Maybe they can just do other things. Maybe it's art classes or just having conversation, or just helping parents that are at home working and trying to balance this reality. So I would say there are so many different kinds of opportunities out there if you look at the landscape and what's needed, that there are going to be new models. So there's going to be, hourly pay models. There's going to be contracting models. There's going to be, all kinds of opportunities. So I love this conversation. I think it's so important to have to help all different kinds of business owners figure out that, okay, my existing business that I had might be gone. It might be completely gone. However, related to what I was doing, there may be even a bigger opportunity right now.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to maybe somehow invite you into one of our live events later on.
I'd love it.
Um,
I'd love it.
but yeah, so finally, where can we find more about you and your company, and what's your next big thing?
Yeah, so I'm Pete Erickson on LinkedIn, Pete Erickson at Pete Erickson on Twitter. That's PeteErickson. You'll find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. You can also email me at pete@modev.com. Our event, our corporate website is modev.com. But check out the next event we have next week. It's called voicetalks.ai. That's our project with Google. So it's a talk show. So suddenly, just talk about like what happened with us is, we couldn't go do those live events at Mobile World Congress or at South by Southwest. But what we did is we took the opportunity to create a talk show. So how can we reach thousands of people through a talk show format now? And we went and hired executive producers, creative producers, full motion graphics people. We had to we've got this whole team now that I didn't have 2 months ago. And we're producing a talk show for Google Assistant. I'm in a completely, really different business than I was before. We've learned so much. That's next week. I would encourage people to check it out. And I'm always happy to talk about the journey that we've been on. Pete@modev.com. Reach out, send me an email. I'm happy to set up a call and be as helpful as I can. And just a nice little report on that. We're approaching 10,000 registered viewers for that first episode. So that tells you that there's a demand for, for this kind of content, and our assumptions about, what the market might need seem to be correct. Now we've got to get through our first episode and get the feedback and see how it went, but we've already got episode 2 planned for May. And then there's going to be something very special there. And then episode 3 is going to be in June. So check us out and let me know if you need to chat.
Right. So I actually have a follow-up question to that. Do you think after the pandemic, you would completely go back to before, or your business has changed now?
Oh, our business has changed 100%. I mean, I would say that I have a real addiction now for this production piece, and both related to our existing properties. So Voice is our kind of flagship property. Right. However, we will be launching new properties in the tech space now. Now that we have our live events team that's still in place, a lot of them are converted to virtual event team. But now we have a whole, we call MoDev Productions. MoDev Productions is a completely new business unit, and we're going to grow that. That's what's, and we're going to drop new properties such as spatial computing, quantum computing. We're even I think we're going to start a live stream conference under the brand name Stream. And, so these are going to be new properties we're going to launch, and they're going to sit on top of the engine that we've developed, and our business is forever changed for sure.
Right. Great. All right. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Thanks, Z. Good luck to everybody out there. Stay safe.